What the fuck did she say?
Okay, here's the thing. If voice actors, both non-union and union, in a video game want a game to go union, the game should go union. Nobody else's opinion matters. That's it. And YouTubers don't know anything. YouTubers don't know anything. They're not voice actors. They've never been in my industry. They don't know what my industry is about. They don't know anything about SAG. They don't know anything about being a non-union actor either.
I don't know if that's entirely true. I feel like everything that there is to know is researchable online.
Stop
I mean, like, if someone's not doing the research and just making a video, sure, but like...
telling me to go to liars. Liars. They are paid to lie to you. Also, I'm sorry. They have more incentive to lie. They have more of an incentive to lie because idiots like you fall for their shit and they get paid for that. Hello? God forbid. I want my industry to actually, like, I don't know, function and that everybody gets paid and everybody gets, like, healthcare.
Okay, but if that's if that's your position though, I'm just saying, Paimon is a pretty fucking big part of Genshin. Imagine, Paimon's VA, if you stopped voice acting and stood in solidarity with your other voice actors instead of scabbing the whole time and then getting mad at other people who also quote-unquote scab, you know? So, I don't know.
Did you know that, like, once things become union, people get paid a lot more? So people are like, oh, but, you know, then some non-union actors will have to join the union. Yeah, they'll be able to, easily, because they'll get paid more.
That's not guaranteed though. Like, that's only if they get an opportunity. I don't think she understands that there's it's a supply and demand thing for union VAs as well as non-union VAs. A lot of projects right now have, I think, a pretty good balance of union VAs that bring in very substantial, quantifiable voice actors who have a solid resume.
Oh boy.
Right? And by doing so, they can voice specifically very popular characters, right? And then, because they're using so much budget on those, they can then hire non-union VAs who, you know, might not have the biggest resume, but are gonna be basically a lower price to voice some other characters that might not be the biggest characters in that regard. So I don't think you could just guarantee that everybody who joins the union will then subsequently continue to get jobs at the same rate they could have gotten otherwise outside of the union, and also like get higher pay, you know? Like, I don't know. She's speaking as someone who has a guaranteed job for 5 years as Paimon. It's a bad assumption. Exactly. Like, you can't just assume that every voice actor before being non-union is going to get as many opportunities and as much pay, right, in total. Because, like, I think being in a union will probably provide you with a job that could pay more, but I don't think it'll provide you with possibly as many opportunities because it's just that much more competition now that you're in the union and competing against these other quote-unquote more talented VAs, according to the leader of the union committee or whatever, that said that non-union VAs aren't talented or not as talented comparatively to like the union ones, right? So I don't know.
Also, there are options that the union has to help pay for those things.
Yeah, I heard that there is a way to basically pay the $3,000 entry fee across multiple months.
Options to help people pay for the union dues within SAG, but you don't know that.
Everybody knows that. You just assume people don't.
Oh my god, it's almost like you're not an actor.
You don't have to. So how did I know that? I'm not an actor. It's called just do your research. Anybody has access to SAG-AFTRA's website and all their documents and all their, like, you don't have to be an actor to know that. You just have to read. I don't know. Hey, apparently I'm a voice actor. I knew that. I knew it before she said that. I'm a voice actor, baby. Woo!
Like, you're not a voice actor.
This is like assuming.
Adam, r/Futanari Fob, how can you beat the allegation, really?
This is like assuming.
Leaked.
Let's think about it this way, chat. Who gives Michelin star restaurants Michelin stars? Michelin star chefs or random motherfuckers who are basically working for Michelin to go taste the fucking food? They're not fucking chefs. They're literally random bozos who are food experts, right? So, but according to Paimon's VA, they shouldn't be able to give any Michelin stars to any restaurant because they're not a chef. They have to be a Michelin level chef to be able to give Michelin stars. You wouldn't know what good food is. Because you're not a Michelin star chef. So how are you, like, that's just not true. You can know things and have insight to an industry without being the top professional within that industry, right? Like, it's just a weird fucking take. We got 2,000 voice actors in here, so we should replace the current. Did you see what happens on iShow Speed Stream? Yeah, we talked about it. It's fucking cringe.
And neither are these YouTubers. But bottom line is that both non-union actors and union actors in a video game want it to go union and have wanted it to go union for a long time. So nobody else's opinion, that is super fucking wrong anyway.
Okay, first of all, there's no way she's speaking for everybody. I think there's a lot of VAs that want AI protection. I don't think they care about the union aspect because, surprise, Paimon's VA, a lot of fucking voice actors don't work in the United States. So unless you're telling me a Japanese voice actor is sitting in Japan wondering, oh, naruhodo, I hope Genshin Impact joins the union for America. Like, what would they have to gain for that? Absolutely fucking nothing. Why would they want that? That is not true. You're just making stuff up. Why would a Chinese VA want that? That was so racist. I'm Asian. I'm Asian. I can't do an Asian accent as an Asian? What the fuck? So if I mimic my mom going, oh, thank you, like, then I'm being racist to my mothers? No, that's like, I'm literally Asian, bro. Are you Japanese? Okay. Might be wild for me to say, but I want her off of Paimon as a VA at this point. I don't really care at this point whether she is Paimon or not. Like, I already skip her voice lines regardless because I think
curious. No mention of AI
Paimon in
protections
English
in the
just
whole round
sounds,
for a strike about AI protections.
sounds bad anyway,
Considering.
so yeah. No mention of AI protections and the whole rant for a strike about AI protections considering. It's just, I don't know, man.
Matters. Hope this helps.
But like the other end is,
How about the Genshin
Is this
team
IRL?
just kills Paimon in game now?
Okay.
Or at least in the 630 Snezhnaya
Oh,
Archon quest. Trade that floating trash for the Goat Capitano instead. Deal.
wait, that would be so sick if Paimon disappeared and Capitano just like followed us in her journey or across like Teyvat. That would be
Hoyoverse
cool,
VA casting here.
but-
Looks like you'd be a great fit for Paimon. When can you start recording some lines for us?
I think the issue with a lot of things she's saying is that people who aren't voice actors aren't knowledgeable. But then, here's my biggest counterpoint to that. Why is it that all these VAs who are so knowledgeable, for anybody out there on social media that wants to get clear, concrete info about this entire thing, has to go from 15 billion different threads by each VA to get the whole picture? Why are there very few VAs who are able to give the entire picture in a very concise manner? Right? Like, if you guys are so knowledgeable on this subject, like, please, can one of you, like, make, and, like, yes, there have been videos, but then there haven't been follow-up videos to address other concerns, right? Most of them have to literally just, like, quote tweet another person that seems to know more than them because they don't know either. Like, you should, as VAs, you shouldn't have to constantly quote retweet someone who's clearly knows it a bit better than you. But, like, according to Paimon's VA, you guys are all VAs, and all VAs know this the best, right? But, like, I don't know. You're a voice actor since this whole thing started, though? I don't even... Okay. And even then, the VAs don't dispute the info that is publicly available on SAG-AFTRA's website besides just trust me, bro. That's what I'm saying. I just don't understand if Paimon's VA knows that... I did this myself. I literally went to SAG-AFTRA's website, looked up all through these, looked up their fucking FI core, looked up their fucking payment assistance, look at their different agreements. Like, this is publicly available. You do not have to be a voice actor to understand these things. You can, as long as you have the capability to read, you can understand these things, right? Now, are there probably some industry like secrets and like, you know, things that like, you know, maybe life hacks or something that voice actors know that aren't just out there written somewhere? Sure, right? Every industry has that. But like, I don't think that is prevalent at all, or I don't think that is like has anything to do with what's going on, you know? What is this? Whenever they get questioned, they either go silent or just lash out and throw insults. Yeah, whenever they get questioned after making a Reddit thread, they just delete their Reddit account and then don't reply to anything. So like nobody can become any wiser. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like there just has to be, like, there's got to be one VA who is very public facing, who is very well knowledgeable on this, that can just like kind of have an AMA and answer all the questions, right? There's got to be someone. Because there hasn't really been anyone to do that. There's been like a couple threads here about one topic and a couple threads here about one topic and another topic and another topic, but you never get like the full thing from one source, right? Encourages union actors to audition on non-union projects to potentially turn them union. As a union member, I'm not allowed to audition for non-union work. Wrong. Fact, you are allowed to audition for non-union work. However, you cannot work without a union contract. Audition, get the part, you're likely to stand out in a non-union crowd. I wonder why. It's almost like SAG-AFTRA believes everybody who's non-union are less talented or something. Like, why do they keep saying this stuff? By the way, it's so weird. Like, even the head of their committee specifically talking about how non-union voice actors just aren't as talented, which is like, what kind of narrative is this, man? Like, that's just so weird. Once you're offered the role, explain that you can't do the role unless it's union. Let the producer know that going union is not nearly as complicated or expensive as they might imagine. Staff is right here in Texas to help with the paperwork. In fact, you are encouraged to audition for non-union work because non-union producers get a chance to see amazing talent they wouldn't otherwise see. This just constantly predicates on the fact that you believe that everybody who isn't union is not amazing talent. Like, that's just wrong. I feel like there's 100% a chance that there's a non-union voice actor out there who is probably extremely fucking good, better than anyone you have. Or like, this is just like some high horse shit, man. I keep seeing this. It's so weird. When you land that job and get a union contract, you turn that non-union production union. You can help organize more work by sharing information about non-union producers or companies with union staff so they can inform them about our contracts. Like I get that everything that they want to do and what the voice actors understand as SAG stands for is supposed to be for the betterment of VAs, right? But like, I don't think constantly implying that all the union VAs are essentially just of a better crop and better people or better actors than anyone that's non-union is like a good look, right? Like, this just creates like a toxic environment in the space for no reason. Like, I don't know, man. To be honest, I don't mind if Paimon VA gets taken over by AI. Nah, we shouldn't want that regardless. I guess they just don't want to risk working with non-union VAs as a whole. It's not that. It's because you have to understand the way unions like SAG-AFTRA work is the more and more people that join them, the more and more money that they have to work with, and quote unquote, essentially the more money they have to work with, and essentially they could reach out to further and further benefits for their union workers, etc. So like, the goal of a union is to get as big as possible, right? That's essentially what it is, which, I mean, isn't bad. It's just there's wording here that just feels really fucking toxic. Like, hey, go try out for a non-union work. You're probably gonna stand out from all those non-union pigs. And then when those non-union producers realize how good we are, they'll fucking definitely want, like, I don't know, man. Like, why they gotta word it like that? It's just it's weird, man. As much as we like dislike Paimon's English VA, I would not want AI. Yeah, I don't want AI to get close to anything creative. So I'm good on that. Ooh, when is this premiering, by the way? Tomorrow? They should just delete English VAs as a whole? Nah, I like English voice acting. Read this one. What is this? Union actors are better actors. This is true. You're better because this is like that type of like Scientology brainwashing like mentality. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like a VA should be in the union and still be like, don't have this weird higher than thou mentality versus VAs who aren't. That's just weird, man. Because this implies that there is no hidden talent out there that could be really fucking good, right? And also, like, can we be serious? So you're telling me, like, this goes back to that, this goes back to the CEO, or like the head chairman for SAG-AFTRA, who said essentially that he believes that union actors are just more talented. So, head chairman, let me ask you, if this is a non-union project, right, and then there's VA-A and VA-B, right? VA-B is union and VA-A is non-union, right? So VA-A, by your standards, is untalented. But then let's say this turns union. Does VA-A suddenly get a power-up bonus IRL and turn talented? Because now they're gonna be a union VA? Like, how does that work? How is talent based on your position within a union? Like, a talent is something you either have or born with, or something you cultivate. It's not something you just get because you paid $3,000 to be in something. That's just not how that works. All right? Like, what am I reading, man? It's like some weird shit. Union actors are experienced professionals who know how to act on set, pun intended. There's tons of actors who are not union that also are experienced professionals who also know how to act on set. When you're a union actor in a right-to-work state, it shows you're invested in your career and expect professional industry standards on every job. I'm pretty sure everybody who works on any job expects professional industry standards in every job they work. You are a member because you enjoy all the financial, professional, and social benefits you receive from being in SAG-AFTRA. I'll bet, I mean, yeah, these are great, but, I mean, sure. I mean, this is like almost every union. You respect your craft and business. Which implies anyone not union doesn't respect their craft and business? What?
My worry about this whole debacle is that the
man?
messiness of this whole thing is going to be pushed
This
by
is
bad
just
actors in order to
weird.
paint all unions in a bad light. Sadi.
I think you need to have job experience to enter SAG, so they probably think any non-union actors are no experienced workers that don't know anything, but that's just not true. There's so many non-union actors who just, you know, might not be fucking American, you know? For one thing, right? This is not real, right? No, this is from the official SAG-AFTRA website. This is their website. This is their actual Union Myths catalog here. You are a part of a member-driven organization whose sole purpose is to support you. I mean, this is great. Yeah, this is every union, right? But it's just wording here, man. The wording sounds so mean. Because it just like let me just ask you. No wonder every voice actor has been brainwashed to think everybody wants to join a union. And don't get me wrong, I see all the benefits of joining a union. It sounds very good, right? If you have a really fruitful career and an up-and-coming career, right? Sounds great. But no wonder they all fucking think everybody wants to join the union. They've been all basically told that if you just join the union, you automatically evolve into a greater Pokemon, where suddenly now you're a talented voice actor. Instead of before, when you were non-union, you were untalented. But second you signed up and paid that $3,000, oh my god, rare candy, level 36, leveled up. Oh my god, holy shit, they evolved. Like, what? How does that just doesn't work. You can't just, that's not how that works, man. Like, this is some fucking crazy level gaslighting. I don't know, man. So according to SAG, Paimon's VA is a better VA than Farina's VA. Yeah, apparently, you know. You should start a union for Gacha streamers. I only see the only good ending for this is just SAG-AFTRA to be disbanded, and SAG-AFTRA's not going to be disbanded. If you don't know what SAG-AFTRA is literally based off the Screen Actors Guild, right, for Hollywood. Like, this is not getting disbanded, bro. SAG is way bigger than just gaming voice acting, all right? Like, it is massive. It is a giant fucking part of Hollywood. Unless Hollywood just broke down, but that's not happening. This is basically Hollywood trying to take over. I don't blame any actor that has been brainwashed. Listen, but like, I don't know. I definitely do wonder, like, if I could get like a voice actor on call, I want to just ask them if they feel like everything worded here they're comfortable with. Because there's no way you as a union voice actor can feel comfortable working next to other union voice actors knowing that this is what they think your organization thinks of non-union VAs. Right? On top of that, let me ask, if you're a non-union VA, why the fuck would you want to join a union if this is what they say about you as a non-union VA? Like, what? I mean, the only reason would be to, like, evolve into that greater Pokemon to become the union actor. But, like, you know, it just sounds like pig behavior, man. Anyways. All right, let's check this out. VA talking about why there's no voice. What is this?
I've seen so much misinformation go around about the video game strikes,
TikTok.
especially in regards to Hoyoverse, who produces Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Xenoblade Zero. And so I wanted to give you perspective from an actor who has worked on Genshin Impact, what exactly is going on with these games, why characters are silenced, why Hoyo is potentially not going union, and everything in between so that you have a better understanding. So originally, when the strikes started, and as it still goes on, Formosa is one of the struck companies. Formosa Interactive was who did the original casting for the English dub of Genshin Impact specifically. So people were afraid that there were no AI protections by being under Formosa, and many actors stopped.
You know what I find very confusing, but like in this situation even more? China has laws for voice acting and using AI to essentially use someone else's voice without permission. And that would literally inhibit MiHoYo from just taking someone's voice and reusing it without like paying someone, right? So what, like, obviously getting this, like, this is why I'm very confused, you know? Yeah, but the US is dog shit. Yeah, but like Genshin isn't in the US, right? It's a Chinese company, but so like they already would not be able to, under Chinese law, just take someone's voice and be like, we're not paying you anymore, we got it all recorded already, like, and do that. It would just literally be against Chinese law. So I don't really understand. I think their problem was with Formosa. Yeah, but it's moved beyond Formosa now because they're not with Formosa. Genshin's not with Formosa anymore. Genshin's just, you know, they're reaching out to other studios and stuff. But
stopped work on the game and were requesting for Genshin to go under an interactive media agreement or do something with the AI protections in order to remain with the game. One such
yeah, but wouldn't the Chinese law already cover that? Like, I genuinely do wonder, has anyone asked one of these VAs what the Chinese law against using AI for voices says to them? You know? It wouldn't. Why wouldn't it? That's China, not US, broski. Okay, but like the entire situation is about getting a Chinese company to agree to the agreement. So why do you keep bringing up the US, motherfucker? It has nothing to do with the US. It wouldn't, because US citizens are not subject to Chinese law. Alright, time to pull up good old ChatGPT. Is there a Chinese law to stop Chinese companies from using someone's voice in AI without permission? Just get that settled with first. Yes, under Chinese law, individuals generally have the right to control how their voice is used, blah, blah, blah. Together protects individuals from having their voice used without permission. These laws require companies to inform and obtain consent before using a person's voice. Does this cover people
Using AI when discussing a strike against AI. Considering.
would this cover non-Chinese residents? Chinese law on personality rights and data protection does not distinguish between Chinese and non-Chinese residents in most respects. If a Chinese company or a company operating in China uses someone's voice without consent, even if that person is a foreign national or a non-Chinese resident, Chinese law could apply, and the individual could have legal resources in China. So, what are we trying to sign? But Hoyoverse isn't Chinese. Okay, so Hoyoverse Limited is in Singapore, but I think the game itself being developed in China, in Shanghai, still should cover that, no? SAG doesn't offer legal help without the contract. Ask the AI.
Age of War when?
Would the company Hoyoverse, a subsidiary of MiHoYo, a Chinese company based in Singapore, be held to this same ruling? If a Chinese parent company or a Singapore-based subsidiary of that Chinese parent is collecting or using voice data for individuals in ways that trigger Chinese jurisdiction, then the relevant Chinese laws may still apply. However, whether they would practically be held accountable under Chinese law depends on factors like where the data processing is happening, the nationality or location of the affected individuals, and how the corporate structure is set up. Ooh, so there's a little bit of gray area there that they could probably get away with. All right, let's play devil's advocate and say Hoyoverse could use Singapore to yoink foreign voice actors. Sure, right? Like I think we could give that benefit of the doubt. Sound Cadence has AI protections with Hoyo, so SAG-AFTRA AI protection BS isn't why Hoyo won't sign a term agreement. Yeah, we already know that, you know.
such solution was also moving from Formosa to a different studio, which Genshin, has done since. So Genshin has now moved to different studios to record the English patches. Now, Honkai Star Rail and Xenoblade Zero were cast by completely different companies. This was not part of it. But many of these actors are in all patches of the games, and even when moving, we're requesting that Hoyoverse make all of these games, again, under the interactive agreement, in order to secure AI protections and refuse to work on the games as such. So they stopped working, and that's why a lot of the characters are silent. And many of the developers did not want to recast these roles and wanted them to stay with those actors, and so they chose to just have them be silent, and then they would...
Let's see. Chelsea Krause. They voice Vasher's victims. I mean, they're still voicing some characters, all right.
continue with the games, because as we know, a lot of these come out in monthly patches with
Yeah, it
brand new
doesn't matter
characters
who
and
they
things of
voice. There's still a voice actor, okay?
that nature. And so production had to go on. And so they continued without the voice actors in question. And that's why many of them were silent. And still some of them are silent because they are fighting for AI protections and they're hoping that the games will go union. That is the reason that they are silent. It is not that they are still under Formosa. It is that each individual.
But like, why not just give the assurances? Like, why not? Why doesn't SAG, like, this is my biggest issue. Why doesn't SAG just ask for the assurances of AI protection and then be like, okay, all right, let's agree, handshake, AI protection, let's sign this agreement. You don't have to become a union project, right? But like, they refuse to do that. And this is why everybody's so sussed out. Why not just ask for AI protection but also on top of that demand the union project, right? This is why everybody's sussed out. I feel like if SAG just came out and was like, all right, we're going to drop all that, we just want AI protection, everybody would be on their side. Am I wrong? If they dropped the whole union project thing and just asked for AI protection, nobody would be against it. 1,000,000%. But like, it's just the fucking union project shit. Yeah, I get that they want the fucking, like I said, a union only benefits by getting more and more union projects and union members, right? We all know that. That's why they do that. But it's just, this is why people are like, you know, so suspect of SAG-AFTRA.
Actor has chosen to do this. Some of you will say, well, the games aren't union, and the actors that are working on them, if they are working on the card, were never supposed to be working on them to begin with, because that would be breaking global rule number 1. Many of these actors, are not part of the union. There are some who have broken their union contracts, and sometimes SAG turns a blind eye towards that. Some of them are what's called FICOR or financial core, which means they are dues-paying non-member of SAG-AFTRA. So they pay their dues, but they have written a letter to SAG requesting that they would still like to work on both union projects as well as non-union projects and can work on both. Regardless, there are still people, no matter where they fall, union, non.
I wonder what SAG-AFTRA's myth on this would say about FICOR people. Are they half talented? Because they're only half in the union, are they like semi-talented, maybe not fully talented, just a little bit, you know?
Non-union financial core who still want the AI protections and are withholding their work and services because of that. That's why they want.
I'm gonna be genuinely honest here. I feel like when every VA says every voice actor in the world wants to be in the union, I feel like the existence of FICOR literally goes against that statement, doesn't it? The fact that there are VAs within the union that then say, never mind, I want to go FICOR instead, doesn't that literally imply not everybody wants to be in the union? Like this is why there's so many logical holes and so many things the VAs are saying that I'm just like so confused, right? It's just like, why if everybody, like you guys said, is this like unions are this green pasture that everybody loves and everybody should want to be a union VA, then why are people FICORing, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. I miss when unions were about granting the proper rights for their members and not monopolizing the industry and trying to make all of the money.
AI protections, and they want some sort of guarantee.
Just tuned in. What is FICOR? FICOR is essentially when you don't want to like basically be a union member, but still pay your dues and get like the benefits like of being a union member-ish, but not fully being a union member, and still opt into working non-union jobs as well. Yeah. It's basically FICOR. You can think of FICOR as basically being like a half-half, right? Being like not fully in the union, but also not fully being out, right? Yeah, it's like a fence sitter. Yeah.
Hoyoverse, the developer, that they will.
Why isn't everyone FICOR? Oh, from what I've read, SAG-AFTRA really doesn't like FICOR people. So I bet you that there's probably some type of social outcasting or like something, right? Social pressure where they don't like FICOR as much. Like they leave it as an option, but it's like they prefer you wouldn't. Like even if you actually go to the FICOR SAG-AFTRA site, right, the page, they literally have a whole list of reasons like, whoa, is someone telling you to go FICOR? Wait a second, read this as to why you shouldn't be FICOR. They literally have a whole gaslight page as to why you shouldn't go FICOR. Like, this is why I'm saying they don't like FICOR. They literally try their hardest to convince everybody to not go FICOR, but I'm pretty sure they have to oblige. I don't know if it's a law, but yeah.
Get that, and that is why so many of these characters are silenced. So the question of the hour, why doesn't Hoyoverse just go union in order to circumvent this? I can't answer on their behalf, but I have guesses as to why. Many foreign developers don't go union because SAG-AFTRA is an American union, and they don't necessarily want to deal with America's laws. They also don't want to have to deal with paying.
What American laws? America has no fucking laws. Isn't what I feel like SAG-AFTRA should be really going after? The United States government and asking them to pass AI regulation. Like, am I crazy that the Screen Actor Guild should be pursuing and asking the US government, right, in their own soil for AI regulation instead of a foreign company? Like, I don't know why this is the really pressing matter. I feel like if the Screen Actor Guild is really about AI and AI control, they should be fucking constantly lobbying Congress and the Senate to pass AI regulation, right? Why is SAG-AFTRA's biggest fucking concern right now a fucking Chinese video game? It should be your damn law in the country you reside in. Like, huh? That's what I'm saying. It's because they are for-profit company. That's
more
why
money
there's, like,
for
a lot of
actors.
suspects
They
as to why
also
it
don't
might
want
not be
to
about
fill out the
AI.
paperwork that's oftentimes required. And I will say, if I had a very large guess
With Elon
in
and
particular
Altman shoving
as
loads
to
of
why
money into the White
Hoyoverse
House, do you think anyone trying to lobby for anti-AI regulation is going to work?
I mean, either way, though, like, are they making an effort, right? Like, okay, I mean, listen, there's something here. Hundreds of actors and Hollywood insiders. I don't know if this, involves... Fuck you, I'm not disabling AdBlock. Okay, hang on, hold up. Okay, looks like California did. Looks like, okay, listen, looks, random side, I mean... What do you want me to do? Ask the fucking government, walk to Washington, D.C., go to Capitol Hill and ask them directly?
actively chooses to not go union, it's because of NPC work. What do I mean by this? This is the element that I have done for Genshin Impact. In one of my sessions, I voiced, I believe, 14 different characters. Under a union agreement, if I were to do this, I would have to be paid more after my third character. And here's the thing, those 14 characters I knocked out in about 30 minutes. And you must be paid based on a 4-hour rate whenever you're doing these things. So not only would I get paid based on the 4-hour rate, I would also have to get paid for each individual character. If you look at patches of Genshin, there are upwards of hundreds of NPCs. And so it would mean either having to pay actors more for the individual NPCs that they voice, and or it would also mean just hiring dozens upon dozens of voice actors, and they would have to hire more directors, audio engineers, and they would have to book out more time slots, and it's just a lot more money than hiring a few different voice actors who can do lots of different voices to help provide for the various NPCs in each patch.
Doesn't this just seem like SAG-AFTRA just needs to change that union rule then for NPC work?
That's my guess. It's more so for that than it is for the people who regularly record as the playable characters. It's a guess. It's a guess as to why they have chosen to remain non-union. Yes, it could be as simple as them agreeing to some AI protections, which I have personally not seen from them or heard from anybody as far as what the AI protections are.
You want them to get less money for their members? No, I get why that rule exists currently, right? So that, you know, their voice actors can't essentially be exploited to voice multiple characters and then, like, get a discount, right? But I feel like, on the other hand, right, if you got to voice 14 different characters in a span of 30 minutes and got a 4-hour pay rate and plus bonuses after the third character, like, holy fuck. That's like, damn, bro. Like,
and that might get a lot more of these actors back into these games. And that's the biggest thing, honestly, that we're fighting for right now. People are like, oh, you know, they don't understand what the strike is for. The strike is for AI protections. And that is ultimately what these actors are really fighting for and hoping for. So I truly think if Hoyoverse would at least promise in some sort of form AI protections for many of these actors, they would continue to come back. But I can't speak for them. Most of them.
I mean, I feel like I will agree, right? If all Hoyoverse has to do is make like a statement and say that they're going to guarantee AI protections for VAs. But I think most likely probably the issue is that they're being handed that agreement from SAG-AFTRA and they think that's the main issue, right? And they don't want to agree with that agreement. Hoyo already has AI protection. She lied, but isn't that just for with what's it called? Sound cadence, right? I thought they just did that with Sound Cadence, not so much like the entire company. No, with Side as well. Okay.
them do want some sort of unionized contract, or they would like for the game to wind up going underneath an interim agreement or something, of continue to come, at least promise in some sort of form AI protections for many of these actors. They would continue to come back, but I can't speak for them. Most of them do want some sort of unionized contract, or they would like for the game to wind up going underneath an interim agreement or something of that nature, and some of them would probably not sign back on until it agreed to do so.
But that's the fucking problem. Why don't you just want AI protection? Why do you need it to go union as well? Like, fuck, man.
Whether that be Genshin, Honkai, or ZZZ. So that's what's going on right now. And you may ask, okay, so what's the deal with the fact that one of the actors was recently replaced by a different actor because they were holding out work during the strike in hopes for AI protections, and this whole time the character's been silent, but now they're coming back in and hiring an actor to replace them, and potentially even actors to replace other characters. I don't know why the sudden change has happened. I'm not sure what's happening there, other than the fact...
I mean, I think anybody who plays the game could tell you why it's happened. It's because it's been a long time since some of these characters have been voiced, and they probably just want a voice. What? I don't know if you played a game, Chelsea, but a lot of people who played a game kind of want their voices back.
Fact that I'm guessing Hoyo is remaining in its diligence to be non-union, doesn't see the strike ending anytime soon, and unfortunately decided to hire another actor. Now, that actor, should they try to apply to SAG in the future, will probably...
Why would they apply to SAG? They live in Japan.
Be denied from doing so, because that...
He lives in Japan. He has no benefit.
That is considered scabbing. They took the work from someone who was holding out for AI protections, whether that actor is non-union, union, etc., and it is viewed as a red flag. Now, the actor is not from America, and SAG may not be part of their future plan, but that is definitely frowned upon during a strike, and you do not do that. You do not take...
I'm gonna be honest. I think there's a little bit of, like, confusion here. I think if a strike is domestic, and mainly domestic, I think this argument works. But I think with a strike that is trying to reach internationally and to somehow push its power onto every other country, I don't know if that argument stands, because not every country out there is going to give the same shit about what your country's plight is, right? They're living their own life. They're living under their own laws, right? Why should a voice actor in Japan care about what voice actors in America are going through? Because I ain't gonna lie, voice actors in Japan have it pretty fucking good compared to voice actors in America. So I don't know what voice actors in America are going through versus in Japan, but seems like the Japanese ecosystem over there is way better, all right? So really doesn't make sense to expect Japan's voice actors to also, like, uphold the same strikes and things that you are, right? Because what does... Right, Japanese voice actors would gain and benefit from the AI protection, 100%. So they could agree to that. But they gain nothing from, if anything, they lose out if SAG-AFTRA gets the unionized project passed, right? If anything, foreign voice actors lose out on that, because now all these foreign actors are not union VAs, right? So I don't know. It feels like it's a little delusional.
Work from another actor, especially when they're holding out for something. And so my guess is a lot of the other characters, there are many, many actors who are holding strong with the actors from Genshin and refusing to audition or do the work until these actors are hired back, but that was not the case with the other actor. But I don't know. I honestly cannot say. I don't know what's happening there, but that is...
It's really funny that they call it scabbing, but the guy legit would be barred otherwise if they got it their way. Yeah, exactly. If Hoyo agreed to their contract and turned into a union project, Kenichi's new VA would have never seen the light of day of getting an opportunity in Genshin as a voice actor. Yeah, I don't know.
My guess, but this is what's happening. A lot of people still think that Genshin's still with Formosa, or there's other reasons for it. No, it is truly that the actors are holding out for better AI protection.
Union or not only affects American actors. You can work with a union in the US, but still use actors in other countries who obviously aren't part of the American Union. Are you sure? Because SAG-AFTRA's second agreement that they have, the localization agreement, gives SAG-AFTRA, when a project goes union, a say in approving certain voices, right? voice actors, and it almost makes it so that SAG-AFTRA gets the first buy on most positions. I work in localization. One of our upcoming projects casts in both US and UK. Yeah, okay, but Yanagi, like, have you seen the SAG-AFTRA localization this agreement, right? This agreement has a section where essentially it means that SAG-AFTRA gets the first buy with their union members before any other anything else. So wouldn't this make it so that MiHoYo, wouldn't this essentially, and we are under a union contract in the US, are you, did your brand sign the new localization agreement from SAG-AFTRA? Because that one has a line that insinuates that they basically give SAG-AFTRA powers in terms of like getting first dibs, essentially, you know? Isn't Vanessa a British actress? Yeah. I'm not going to pretend I know everything. I just know we work with the union in the US, but also cast in the UK. That's all. Okay, so the union you work in the US probably isn't SAG-AFTRA then? I'm assuming, considering you're not saying SAG, right? You're just saying a union. So it's probably a different situation, right? It's most likely a different situation.
And or for Hoyoverse to sign the interim agreement, and that's what...
I mean, SAG? Oh, it is SAG. Do you know if your project has signed the localization agreement? Because it seems like SAG is trying to push like bigger developers to sign the second agreement. That's their biggest thing. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this one. Okay, here we go. Employer will only employ performers covered by this agreement who are members of SAG-AFTRA in good standing, or those who shall make applications for membership on the 30th day following the beginning of employment, and thereafter maintain such membership in good standing as a condition of employment. So this is where it's like weird. Right? That's why I'm saying the interim agreement didn't have anything sussy. If like most likely, Yanagi, you guys just have the interim agreement. That's probably fine. It's just that seems like SAG is pushing the bigger companies to sign the localization agreement, which essentially this line is so like employer will only employ performers covered by this agreement, which is like I don't know. It's a little sussy.